Okay, testing, testing. Hopefully we can hear stuff. Oh, yay. Oh my God, people here already. Can you guys just let me know if you can hear me? Because I've had problems with live streams before. Hello, everyone. Yay! Okay, fantastic. So, okay, you guys can hear me. Awesome. Thank you very much. So I was like, it's been a hell of a day here. It's been raining all day. Finally, the sun came out now, and it's like almost 8:30. Um, so I was like trying to. I had scheduled today to do some filming, and I was like, okay, I gotta do it. And I really didn't feel good because it was raining all day, and I have no spoons when it rains. Um, and so I was like, oh, I don't want to do anything. So I put on my makeup, tried to get myself like motivated to go upstairs and do stuff. And yeah, no. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a live stream instead. So here we are. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. This is like my first functioning working live stream. So if I'm, a little awkward, don't mind me. But you guys are so awesome. Oh my goodness, all this love. So hello everyone. I'm just like looking here. So yeah, if you guys have come to Iceland, the Kink scene here is awesome. I really would love to go to Iceland. That's where my family is from. I've never been. I was born here in Canada. I'm a first generation Canadian. So I need to get to Iceland because, that's that. How did you get into BDSM? Um, oh man, it has been so long. I'm just gonna try to. Oh, sorry for the boobs, everyone, or not sorry, whichever. Um, Southern Decadence in New Orleans. I have been looking at it. I can't make it this year. I'm hoping to actually go next year. Where did my chat go? Oh, there it is. Um, but yes, I actually want to apply to be a presenter for Southern Decadence because it looks awesome. But how did I get into BDSM? I knew I was different. I was, a little bit of an oddball, and I kind of fell into it. I answered a bit of that, I think, in my Q&A video. But yeah, I ended up just running into, I guess, the right people or the wrong people. I guess it depends on how you want to phrase that. But they introduced me to Kink at a very, very young age. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see. Would you recommend for me and my husband to introduce Kink into our relationship since I'm an experienced sub, but he's a very new dominant? Um, I mean, it's the same kind of stuff that I tell everybody. Sit down, have a conversation about what you're looking for. Sorry, everything's like shaky because I'm an animated talker and this is sitting on my lap. So I apologize. But sit down and have a serious talk about what it is you want. What does being a sub mean to you? What does being a dominant mean to him? What kind of activities excite both of you guys? And then, you can kind of go from there and go really slow. Don't try to overload yourself. I'm a huge fan of BDSM checklists for sure. But yeah, just go slow. Only do a couple of activities if you're going to do a scene. If you are looking at like a more in-depth DS relationship, again, start slow. I see so many people who are like, "Oh, we started out with 20 rules," and it's like, okay, that's far too much. No one's going to remember those, and it's just going to be a problem. So have a couple of rules that are really, really important to you, and then go from there. But it's really a matter of taking things slowly and talking. Talk before, talk after. What did you like? What did you not like? What worked? What didn't work? Just, just keep talking, because if you don't talk to each other, then it's like, something may have been good or it may have been bad and you don't know. And at least if you know things were good, then you can do those again. And if you know something didn't work out the way you wanted it to, because that happens a lot, then you cannot do those again. And also, get out to some classes, do like a BDSM 101, even though, you're the experienced one, go with him, because no one wants to go to these things alone. I mean, I get messages all the time for my classes. They're like, oh no, I don't want to go alone. So go together, do BDSM 101, go to classes, workshops that, focus on activities that you are interested in. It's a bit late right now, and you're probably not in Toronto, but my good friend Taylor J. Mace, and you guys should totally look him up. He's got a website and everything. But he is teaching an impact play class today. And, just a general sort of thing. And that's a fantastic class for new folks. So let me just scroll back. Because I see I'm like, oh my God, all the questions must answer everything. All right. Okay, so do you have any tips for people not new to BDSM or bottoming, topping for moving to a DS relationship with their play partner? Yeah, for sure. Again, I mean, the same thing that I just said, talk about what interests you. What does DS mean to you? What role are you expecting to take, and what role do you expect the other person to take? And then start out slow. Like, do you want a punishment dynamic? Is that something you're interested in? Do you want, a rules based or micromanaging? Like, there's so many different styles of DS. Like, I'm sure you guys have kind of figured out from my videos, I'm really super laid back, so I don't have a lot of rules. I like more general rules. I think I wrote in a comment that, like, my rules are basically like, protect the property, be honest and open, communicate with me. It's that kind of stuff, like really wide open rules. Oh, obedience. I'm really big on obedience. But what does that mean necessarily, right? So we need to like sit down and figure out what all of that stuff means. So if you want to have lots of rules, that's cool, but start slow. Only add one or two at a time, and be very clear as to what the rule means and what the consequences are for breaking the rule. For me, I don't do a lot of punishment dynamics. I have in the past, but for me, it's like if my partner breaks a rule, then we sit down and we have a talk, and I say like, what's going on? Why did we break the rule? What's like, is the rule too onerous? Is it just not working right now? Is there something we need to change? What's happening? So again, it's hugely communication, but figuring out what style of DS you're looking for. So again, like, I mean, I know a lot of people are super into micromanaging. I've never seen a long-term micromanaged relationship. I have some really good friends that started out that way. Every morning he picked out what she was gonna wear and like everything. And, that was probably a decade ago. They're married now. She knows what he likes to see her in, so she chooses her own clothes and puts that on. So the micromanaging doesn't always work out long term, but for some people, it is a lot of fun and it can work. So yeah, just find out what role do you expect to take, and do you expect the other one to take, and kind of go from there. Um, my view on littles and DDLG, DDLB. So daddy dom, little girl, daddy dom, and little boy. And can I make a video on it? Sure, absolutely. It's not a kink that I have personally, but I'm a huge fan of, whatever floats your boat. That's what you should do with the consent of everybody involved, of course. So yeah, I will definitely, I don't like to do a lot of stuff on stuff that I'm not really knowledgeable about, but I can absolutely touch on that in a video because I know it's sorry, I'm like, everything's moving. It's really popular right now. Okay, I see a ball busting thing. Make sure you do some research if you're going to get into ball busting, because you can really harm someone. I will hopefully do something in the future on that, but it's hard to teach over the internet, and I don't want people to see a video and then hurt each other. So, podcasts. I'm trying to think of I know the one I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I'll throw that out there right now. But there is the People of Kink, and they have like an online radio station, and it involves a bunch of different shows. Now, I've been interviewed by them because they're local to me, so that's how I know about them. But there's a bunch of really good sort of individual podcasts that happen under the umbrella of People of Kink. Have I ever been to Northern Exposure in Alaska? No, I have not. I've been to Northern Exposure in Toronto, which is a tattoo convention, so not at all connected to kink. But that sounds cool too. I haven't even heard of it. I'm gonna have to look it up because I've never been to Alaska, and I'm finally getting back to where I can travel. So yeah, if you guys want me to come to your cities or where you're at, like, let me know. Let me know some of the conventions, and different things. And if you are somebody who books, teachers and that sort of thing for those events, I'd love to hear from you. I'm just getting back to where I'll be able to travel again, and I'm super excited about it, because I love to travel. So we will definitely I'm gonna have some really cool stuff to announce very soon, but I don't want to jinx myself yet. So let me firm things up, and then I have fun announcements. um, all right, if you want to squeeze your boyfriend's balls, start gentle. Like, honestly, no pressure. Like, just holding them will probably make him squirm. And if you do want to hit them or anything like that, I would say just like little flickies, because they're super sensitive, right? Use that to your advantage. You don't need to do much of anything. I've like seriously tapped with just a finger, and if you do that for a couple of seconds, it begins to hurt really badly. So go really, really light, and lots of feedback and communication always. How's my big puppy doing? He's fantastic. He's like sitting over there sleeping on the floor. He got a big bone today. And so I haven't actually seen the dog because he's just like, I have a bone, leave me alone. So, oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you, Gus. Um, all right. My sub has been in BDSM for years, and I am a first-time dom. She becomes dominant when she doesn't get the dominance she needs from me. How do I rein her in? Well, it depends on, again, what you want to do. If you like having that power struggle back and forth, and you like fighting for dominance, then reward her bad behavior by giving her what she wants. So she's acting out to get you to sort of assert your dominance. I assume that's probably usually when people do that, it's more in a play kind of thing. They want you to like grab them and throw them down or whatever it is. So yeah, if you want to encourage this power struggle constantly in your relationship, and I know a lot of people enjoy that type of thing, then reward the behavior by giving her what she wants. If, on the other hand, this is pissing you off and you don't want this behavior, you want to, eliminate it, then you need to actually sit down and have a conversation. And depending on whether, if you have a punishment dynamic, use, and I mean like genuine punishments. So like no FetLife for a week, no social media for a week, whatever it is, or uh, go sit in the corner, whatever it is that you have agreed on for punishment, then you can do that. So it really just depends on whether you want to encourage or discourage the behavior. I personally, I don't like that sort of stuff. So I won't engage. I'll just be like, okay, you come back to me when you're ready to behave yourself, when you're ready to, abide by the role that you agreed to. Because I don't mind a bit of bratting here and there. Like my partner and I, when we're in like playtime or whatever, we'll play back and forth a bit. But I don't want somebody to challenge my authority all the time. It's not fun. So I don't put up with it. And how you handle that is totally up to you. Um, oh, oh, okay. So awesome. Tom here has some podcasts. Um, Holdren's Crypt, I hope I'm saying that right, and Kinky Cast are good. I haven't seen either of those, but I'm gonna have to check them out. Oh, I would love to come to St. Louis. yes, I'm hoping actually that I can make it out to see you guys in St. Louis at some point in the next year or so. Again, if I manage to get that put together, I'll let you guys know. But I love the idea of Spanksgiving. I love Beat Me in St. Louis as well. I haven't been to either. I've never been to St. Louis, so I really would like to come out. Um, okay, subs with disability. What have been my experiences in the real life community? Um, mine have been kind of a mixed bag. So for those of you who don't know, I've been disabled for a long time. I used to walk with a cane, and I have chronic pain. So I didn't run into a lot of problems within my community at that point. Everything was pretty much okay because I could handle some stairs and stuff like that. Now, for the last year and a bit, I've been using a wheelchair. So, that has been a challenge, and it's been a challenge for 2 reasons. One, because I have a really shitty wheelchair. I just bought a new one. It's coming on Wednesday, fingers crossed, which will give me a lot more freedom. But a lot of our play spaces are not accessible. Now the one closest to me is, which is fantastic, and it hasn't been a problem. People are very open. But I walked in, well, I rolled in, I don't know. But, I rolled in having a reputation and experience. So I think that my experiences as a disabled person in a BDSM community or very visibly disabled are going to be a lot different. I know that I still have lots of offers to play, when I feel up for it and stuff like that. Newer people that didn't know me when I was able to walk are a little wary sometimes. Um, but I do also get to meet all the other people in the community that are also disabled, and there's a lot of them, invisible disabilities or different types of disabilities, and so that's really awesome. And I'm actually putting together some stuff right now, a couple of classes and workshops for people with disabilities. So if you are somebody that has a disability, I will be putting out a call um, to basically help me test out a workshop online. So you can participate for free as long as you just promise that you'll give me a bit of feedback here and there. And so we'll hopefully be able to come up with some really cool stuff there. Um, How's your health? How are you in general? It's up and down, definitely. I'm getting my new wheelchair Wednesday, like I said, so I'm really excited about that. Today it's been raining, so I have no spoons. I'm just really sore. So that's what I'm gonna do. Instead of filming a couple of videos, I'm gonna talk to you guys live, which is kind of nice. So, um, let's see. Okay, I know that, the person asking about ball busting and stuff didn't hear the answer. So I just said start really light, okay? Very light squeezing, little flicks. You don't need to go hard. They're very, very sensitive. I have no idea why some people like it. It's for the same reason that people like any kind of pain. Um, they process it differently. It feels good. Like, why do you guys like pain? I'm curious. Like, if you are a masochist or even a bottom, what do you like about it? Because I don't have that personal experience. I'm not a masochist. I do stuff that's really painful all the time. Some of it intentionally, so some of it just life. But yeah. Oh, I'm sure the puppy will join me as soon as he realizes that I'm talking to people. He likes to come and lick my face when I am online having a chat with people. I'm glad I can help you with both BDSM and English. I That's awesome. I love using the internet to try to work on my own learning of other languages. I'm trying to learn Spanish. I lived in Mexico for a while. You think I would be able to speak a lot more Spanish than I do, but I'm still working on it. Am I more monogamous or polyamorous? That's a really good question. Um, I am generally polyamorous, but I'm currently in a relationship where when we got together, he is monogamous. And so we talked about it and we said, okay, we'll be mono. And I was okay with that because I'm kind of at a point in my life where I'm not really needing a lot of other partners or anything like that. So I felt it would be okay to do a monogamy thing, with the caveat that we could talk about it in the future and, stuff changes, whatever. So when I was in the accident last year, that really curtailed my ability to, be affectionate, because I have so much more pain in my body. And to play, I haven't been able to play. I'm just kind of getting back into a lot of this stuff. So we have an agreement right now where he's polyamorous and I'm monogamous, because I absolutely don't have time or energy or anything, for one partner, never mind multiple partners. So, um, yeah, that's a really complicated question right now in my life. A little while ago, it would have been much easier to answer. Um, Oh, thank you. You guys have such wonderful comments and compliments. You're so awesome. Thank you guys so much. It's really helped me this last year where things have not been good for me. Just knowing that I have you guys here and that you care, and it's just so amazing to me. So I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Okay. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Okay. Um, let's see. My husband and I want to bring in a third. We've had multiple discussions about it. How would you suggest we go about finding the one? Well, um, first thing that I would say is, look up the concept of a unicorn, and I don't mean that to insult you guys in any way, but there are a lot of couples who are looking for a third, and usually, and I don't know if that's the case here because you didn't say genders or anything like that, but often it would be a bisexual woman that they want to fit into their relationship. Um, and so a lot of bisexual women are really like just wary of couples that kind of approach that way. So what I would suggest is to make friends, um, to not have preconceived ideas of, who this person is going to be and how they're going to fit into the relationship and how they're going to, love both of you equally or find both of you equally attractive or whatever it is, because you don't necessarily say whether you want to have this as just like a sexual thing or as like a triad relationship long term. Triads are really hard to maintain long term. Um, and if it's just like for a sexual thing, I probably am not allowed to say this on YouTube, but sometimes it's best to hire a professional, if it's just a sex thing. If you are looking for a more in-depth relationship, then absolutely, but go out, start making friends, and see where it goes from there. And just try not to have those preconceived. And obviously, you're going to have some rules to protect your relationship. Um, and that's fine, but the more rules you have, the harder time you will have finding someone willing to join you. So you do what you need to, right? Because to me, it's better to wait, years to find the right person if we have rules in place to protect what we already have. Um, but just like I said, just know that the more rules you have, then the harder it's going to be to find somebody to sort of fit into that. So try to have that I like that space for a third person as wide open as possible, if that makes any sense. What's your opinion on people who are virgins coming into the BDSM community? I think that's just fine. Um, I was not a virgin when I came into the BDSM community. I had to really think about that, because a lot of this sort of happened around the same time for me. But yeah, I was not. But I don't see a problem with it. BDSM does not have to equal sex. I do non-sexual BDSM all the time. It's you don't have to worry about it if you are a virgin. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some people that might give you a hard time for that, you all already know that those people are jerks, right? People who don't respect you and your decisions, whether you are a virgin because you just haven't had the chance, whether you're a virgin because you've decided you want to remain a virgin for whatever reason, or whether you're a virgin for religious reasons. Anybody who judges you is not worth your time. So, yeah, I don't see there's any problem with it. You might want to be upfront with people, especially if you are planning on remaining a virgin. But also, you need to figure out what sex is to you and what things are okay and what are not okay. And this is something that I tell people who are interested in non sexual play in general, because my idea of non-sexual might be different than your idea of non-sexual. One person might think that sexual equals penetration of some sort, whereas to me, oh look, I'm a slut, guys. Bye bye. Um, sorry. I always find it hilarious when I'm a slut, but I'm an ace. I'm not into sex. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyways, where was I? Shit, sorry. But anyways, yes, you need to defend or define what sex is for you. So, like I said, so some people, sex is penetration and that's it. To me, it's like kissing, touching, breasts or genitals, just even sensual kind of stuff. So, figure that out and be upfront and honest with people, because some people will expect sexual things and will make assumptions. So you need to protect yourself, and do that. Okay. Oh my, look at all the trolls who have showed up. Isn't that lovely? Um, Actually, that's something that I did want to talk to you guys about. Oh, I absolutely dance, but I do it when people are looking. I just do it in my wheelchair. Um, let's see. There we go. Sorry, I'm still figuring out the all of the moderation controls here. Um, okay, well, we don't call people sluts here at all. So we're just gonna, yeah. Okay. Uh okay, we did those. So I'm trying to like I'm a little slow. Um Funniest or most memorable scene I've done. I did an interrogation scene. Um and uh so the the answer uh, was or like the word to get the interrogation scene to end was mustard. And that's because the person I was interrogating hated to have mustard on their sandwiches. And it was just like a silly little thing that I knew about them. And this person is a really hardcore masochist. And I beat the hell out of them. I waterboarded them. I did all kinds of terrible things to them, all the while screaming, "What is it that you won't put on your sandwich?" And this person already giggled when I hurt them, and they laughed the whole time. And people are like, "What the fuck is going on over there?" Like they knew we were hard players, but that was a little much. So that was probably one of the funnier ones that I've had, just because it was so absolutely ridiculous. So. Uh, Oh, okay. I like what you have to say there. That one trans dude vlogs. He says, "For me, feeling pain for your dominant makes it worth it, and it also sort of a high being in pain." I love when somebody will suffer just for me. They don't like it, but they'll do it just for me because they know I like to cause pain. That to me is the hottest thing ever. So, yay. My partner gets a little offended when I say I want to accept male friend requests on FetLife. How can I show him that accepting them won't affect our relationship? That's a toughie. I am somebody that I don't feel jealousy generally. Like if somebody's actually made me feel jealous, then I think they deserve an award because that's hard to do. So I get a little wary when people are jealous over things that I view as no big deal. And I think that you probably also say that excuse me, see adding male friend requests on FetLife as not really a big deal. Now your partner does. Um, I would sit down and talk to them for sure, because that's basically the answer to absolutely everything, is sit and talk to your partner. But find out why it bothers him that much. Um, like, because there's a reason. And maybe it's that he had somebody, a previous partner, that cheated on him through social media. And so he finds that threatening. Maybe he thinks that that's just what he's supposed to do, to protect you or something like that. Um, I'm not a huge fan of the ask, my partner before you add me as a friend kind of thing. But maybe if you feel comfortable doing so, you can be very open and transparent and say, look, I'll show you the correspondence that I have with these guys whenever you want. And that way you can see that we're not talking about anything that we shouldn't be. And maybe that would make him feel more comfortable, but only if you feel okay doing that. And then I would also warn anybody that you're having a conversation with that you share these conversations with your partner. Um, Now, for me, I'm not strict like that by any stretch. Both my partner and I accept friend requests from whoever we choose. But we also talk about these things a lot. Like, I don't read his messages. I don't have his, passwords on anything. And he doesn't have mine, but we're very open. And I'll say, oh, haha, I got this funny message today. You should see it, or whatever it is. So I think just showing that you're not going to break the agreements that you made within your relationship, no matter what they are. And I mean, like, so that's the little things, the big things, all of it. But also just trying to be open and transparent and find the root of where that jealousy is coming from. Does he perceive that, maybe that you have a flirtatious nature or something? Now, that's not your problem. That would be his problem with not wanting to deal with that. But you can certainly make him feel more comfortable by helping him just, see that you're not doing anything that you shouldn't be doing. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit. My wife likes pain because it helps her deal with her chronic pain from her disability. I have heard that from a lot of people with chronic pain. I have to admit that it breaks my brain. um, I mean, because I'm in pain all the time as well. So the idea, in some, like, in the BDSM sense, totally, I don't get it for some reason, but at the same time, um, I do, like, hook suspension and stuff, and I like it because it's stuff that I have control over. It's pain I control. So I do get it in some ways, but when I think about it in a BDSM situation, because it would have to be somebody else doing the pain to me, I wouldn't have that control, but I can see where I guess other people would, but it still breaks my brain a little bit. I'm it's a giant contradiction. My brain does not always make sense. Pain is very connecting and freeing. That's awesome. Uh, I'm wondering how to help my partner learn to be a dom since I'm a sub. I did sort of touch on this a little bit earlier. Oh, and Michael here. Oh, okay. I'm partially blind and my girlfriend is very kinky into BDSM. I'm willing to learn and I kind of like it too, but where do I start? And I would be very much interested in online courses. Awesome. So that sort of adds a bit of a different dimension to it. Now, blind being blind is not going to hold you back in a lot of ways. It will in some, obviously, that, or being partially blind. Um, I taught a guy who was completely blind how to use a flogger, and it took him a bit longer. It really wasn't a problem, once we figured out how he needed to learn to do that. So you're gonna have to find workarounds, which is actually the online class thing that I was talking about. It's going to be about workarounds. So as far as learning to be a dom, I would say take some workshops, whether they're online, whether they are, in person. Um, and if the person teaching is any good, they will try to help you and figure out ways to make things work for you. But definitely, again, have that conversation, do a BDSM checklist, um, you know, sort out, basically, what do you expect from each other, and what do you want this to look like? Is it just going to be DS in the bedroom for play? Is it going to be more involved? So that way and you know what you expect from each other. But yeah, as far as like the sort of skills go, um, I would definitely suggest doing things where your vision isn't going to be the main focus. So, I mean, you can absolutely do rope because you can do that by feel. I mean, half the time if I'm tying, I'm not even looking at the rope that I'm tying because I'm kind of off in my own world and I can do it by feel and I'm excited. So, but yeah, you should be able to find that. Definitely take some classes and, I think I've got a couple of videos about that kind of stuff. I know that I have one for a sub to help a dom find confidence, but yeah, BDSM checklists are awesome. Like, pick one up. You can just Google it, and there's a million out there. But it'll give you an idea of where your interests kind of overlap. So, um, uh, I keep Okay, thank you so much for your videos. Needless life. Oh, thank you so much from Michigan. Um, my partner and I are switches and both new to the concept. What are your experiences with switches? Did they always know, or was it a discovering process? Um, a little bit of both. Honestly, it's some people know right from the beginning that they want to switch. Some people, you know, think, oh, because I am this gender, I need to be this role or whatever when they first come in, and then they discover they have other interests. Sorry, I talk so much and then I run out of saliva. It's a terrible thing. um, but yeah, for a lot of people, it's a discovery process. I've known people that have gone 20 years in one role and then woken up one day and they're like, you know what? I think I'd like to try the other side of things. And then they do. And some of them have just switched completely and taken on that new role and left the old one behind. And some then were switches. So, um, yeah. So it really depends on the individual, but yeah, you have to play around. And some people like switching with the same person. Some people like having a relationship only one role with one person and a different role with a different person. So, whatever works for you, I think is what's best, right? So I've had a lot of experience with switches actually, but not them switching. I seem to date a lot of switches. I'm not sure why, um, but I don't switch, so they only play one role with me. Like they're always sub to my dom, and I'm the dom. And then sometimes we will do like a double dom kind of play where I'll tell them what to do to somebody else, which is always kind of fun. And then sometimes they'll just have a separate partner that they express their other side with or that they switch with. So, but yeah, I've dated a lot of switches in my life. Earrings not by Glass Heart. I'm assuming that's what Vortex is asking. I just got these actually off a site called Joom. It's kind of like Wish. I needed some half inch because I'm at this like awkward space. So yeah, here we are with these, and I like them. I get tons of compliments on them, so I think I made a good choice. So um, looking to find well-made floggers. Any suggestions? I get most of my floggers from Six Whips. It's the number six, then whips.com. And they also have an Etsy store, Six Whips as well. To me, they're absolutely fantastic. I've talked about them in other videos, but I've had their floggers for years and years and years. I have abused them. I have treated them so terribly, like done things that you should never do to your floggers to these things, and they look brand new. So I highly suggest them. Oh, I've got another giggler. My dom at first found it odd, but now he enjoys it because he knows that I'm having a good time. I giggle right along with it. When I'm hurting people, I think it's the funniest thing. I'm just like, why are you letting me do this to you? Like, this is awesome. So, yeah, I giggle. Okay. Oh, I see one of my friends. Hello, Pete. I haven't talked to you forever. I miss you, and I will totally message you soon because I had a bad few months. So, uh, Let's see. Okay. I have a dilemma. An old play partner ghosted me for someone else in the scene, and things are awkward whenever I see them at an event. It kind of ruins my mood. How would you go about that situation? Oh, that sucks. Like, just flat out, that sucks. Um, yeah. I don't know. Mm, I might pull them aside discreetly, obviously, and just try to talk to them a little bit and be like, "Hey, like, this is awkward." I'm sure it's awkward for them too, right? Um, and just be like, "Look, can we just either keep to our own side of the room kind of thing, or do our best to avoid each other if that's it, or maybe like even try to talk and figure out why they ghosted and see if you can." I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, give them a second chance. It really depends. Like I'm saying this as I totally ghost on people because I get depressed and then I don't want to be social, so that happens a lot. So maybe they have a reason like that. I don't know. So you're gonna have to figure out whether you feel comfortable giving them another chance or not. And so I might not give them a chance as a partner, but maybe just as like an acquaintance level friend, so that it isn't awkward anymore. But yeah, that's a tough situation. Like I would probably just walk to the other side of the room and try to avoid them, until I got annoyed enough at the situation, and then I'd go and talk to them, to be totally honest, or send them an email if you don't wanna do it face to face. But yeah, just be like, "Look," you know, because communities are small, right? It's not like, "Oh, okay," even if you're in a big city, like in Toronto's got one of the biggest scenes in the country, in my country, and, like, it's small. Like, it's ridiculous. So it can be really awkward, but yeah, that sucks. Um, the book of mine is seen mentioned in the chat. I have 2 books, guys. The first is called A Guide to Classic Discipline. The second one is Exploring BDSM, and it is like an introductory book. Both of those are available on Amazon, and you can find them through I usually have a link in, like, the description of all of my videos, and it's on my website as well, which is msmorganthorne.com. So, I try to put everything in one easy to find place. Um and so I was in a little space and I was alone. It was my first time slipping without others around. I just cried until my dom got home. Then she gave me a cookie and let me watch Minions. That's so sad. It's sad in the beginning, but that's a good ending to that. You like, I mean, I don't know, cookies and Minions. It's kind of awesome, even if you aren't a little can't talk. Oh, thank you from Brazil. Um, Both me and my husband are sadists and masochists. When I inflict the pain, I like it because of the noises my husband makes. I love the noises. Oh my God. Um, and when I'm receiving the pain, I think it kind of reminds him I'm human. That's kind of cool. I like that. What is the best way to find a switch in the community? I recently joined a BDSM group, but I don't really know how to go about it. We don't know what anybody's role is going to be until we talk to them and ask them, really. I mean, I've had people make assumptions about what role I take, and often they are wrong. Sometimes they're right because I do kind of walk into a room like a boss. But I mean, I've walked in and like I think I've told this story before. I've walked in, I had a guy on a leash walking behind me, and people thought I was a sub. And I was like, did you not see the dude here? But okay. So we have to talk to them. We don't know until we talk to people. And some people will present as very dominant and then turn out to be submissive, or they may not go into DS roles at all. Maybe they don't like authority transfer. They're just there to, do some spanking or get spanked or whatever. So yeah, just talk to them. People, and if you're new to a community, the best thing that you can possibly say is, "Hi, I'm new," because we are always like, "Oh, new person here, let me help you." Just be aware that not everybody offers to help out of the kindness of their heart. Some of them do want stuff in return, and you need to decide if that's something you want to deal with. But if you kind of go to a munch or whatever and you say, "Hey, I'm new," most people are going to be really open to helping and just, you know, helping you navigate the scene or meet the people you're looking for or whatever it is. So yeah, just ask people, talk to them, and treat people as people, obviously, right? That's, I mean, the thing we need to remember. We aren't our roles. We're people first, and then our roles come in. So, um, Could I learn how to dom from my sub or another dom, seeing how as how I'm partially blind? Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Oh, Michael, yes, because I kind of talked about that. For sure, you just need to figure out your workarounds. So, like I said, I mean, I would do stuff that you can do by feel. So stuff like, I mean, I suggested rope before, but hand spanking, because then you can feel, and the person can tell you, okay, here's where you need to hit, and then you can do it. And you get that automatic feedback because it's your hand and their bottom or whatever. So yeah, absolutely. And just, I mean, communication constantly. And for you, you may need to have even more feedback and sort of just have them let you know what's going on their end. So for sure, absolutely. Like, there's, disabilities don't stop anybody from being dominant. They don't stop anyone from being submissive. Topping, bottoming, it doesn't matter. We can do it. And it's just, we got to figure out the workarounds. So, um, okay. Any plan to come to the States, like say Michigan? Yeah, I'm hoping to come down there soon. I haven't been to the States in a while. But yeah, we'll talk soon. I don't have any plans for Michigan right now, but we'll see. I've got a few things in the works. Very random, but what lipstick are you wearing, Morgan? This is actually from Shop Miss A. It's $1 lipstick. And I can't for the life of me remember what it's called because I bought like 5 of them. So I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, but it is a Shop Miss A lipstick, where everything is $1 because why not, right? Um, Okay. Oh, Pete again. Message, yes. I will definitely message you. Oh, okay. He says also ghosting happens and sometimes the person doesn't know how to get back. So I think what he's saying maybe there is just like, you know, it's been a little bit uh and they haven't responded and then they don't know how to restart that conversation. I think that's a very valid point because I know I've done that before. Totally. Um Okay, it's because they were dating this person, they ghosted the person before me too. It's wild because 'cause they're like 30. Yeah, just because 'cause we're, uh, you know, 30, we're gonna go with that. Doesn't mean we're mature, right? It's unfortunately. But yeah, and if they have a history of ghosting, then yeah, maybe just kinda like, I know it's hard if you don't get that sort of closure to the end of a relationship, but it's maybe best just to, like, ignore them and sort of hold yourself, with a bit more pride because you know that you wouldn't do that to someone. But yeah, that sucks. Ugh, I'm so sorry. I wish I had better advice. I'm not good at that stuff. I like leaving marks but not causing pain. Is that strange? I find it hard to accept this part of myself because marks are associated with pain. Any advice? Um, I don't think it's strange, because I try not to think anything is strange. That to me has some negative connotations. I think that you feel the way you feel, right? And that's absolutely fine. I would kind of maybe question why you don't like causing pain, because if you have somebody who enjoys pain, oh, here's everybody was wondering where you were, Wolfie. You're just gonna Oh, there's your giant tongue. Yes. Hi. Here's Wolfgar. Um, when I sit on the couch, he's as tall as I am. It's ridiculous. Um, but yes, so why is it that you don't like causing pain? Because if you have somebody, a partner who likes pain, then, you know, you're doing them a good thing by causing pain. But if you don't like causing pain, that's absolutely fine. But like I said, I would maybe look at that a little bit. But marks are hard to leave without causing pain. I mean, I'm really good at causing pain without leaving marks. That's easy. But the other way around, like that is a little bit of a head scratcher. Uh, Let me get back to you on that one. 'Cause I don't have an answer right now. Let me think about that, and I will do a video and get back to you, I promise. It might take me a little while, but yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that one. I don't always have the answer. Um, yeah. Yes, Dust Tail Sands. You can be partially blind and still be a dom. Use accommodations. They're your best friend. Yeah, you know yourself the best, right? we all know what we're capable of, and absolutely, it is, we can do anything. I absolutely believe that. Okay. Oh, thank you guys. We've got Washington State, the UK, Dallas. Awesome. You guys are so awesome. Um, Best word of advice from personal experience, and it's my buddy Pete again. When you don't know who's who and what's what, just observe and start talking to people politely. Anyone corrects you, just smile and thank them, etc. That's good advice. Now, Pete, for those of you, obviously, you guys don't really know Pete. He's not a social guy, and it's not an insult to him, and he knows this. He doesn't like people very much, but he does know how to sort of navigate social scenes if you twist his arm and convince him that it's worth it. And I think that's excellent advice. Thank you, Pete. Um, how long do I interview a new person? I don't really interview people. I hang out with people. I get to know them as friends. I date, that kind of stuff. Um, I get some people kind of like to have a little more formal sort of thing, but for me, I'm a really laid back person. Um, but yes, so it really depends. I mean, I've played with people the first time I've met them, like at just some pickup play at a play party, and then other people, it's taken a long time before we ever played together. So I don't really have an answer to that. And do you mean Washington, D.C. or Washington State? Because I come out to D.C. occasionally. Um, I haven't for a little while, but I really like DC. It's an awesome, awesome place. But I've never been to Washington State, so I can't really say anything about that. Have I ever visited Vancouver? No, I haven't. I have been all throughout the east coast of Canada, but I've never seen the west coast. So it's on my list of stuff to do. My sort of 5-year plan or so is that I would like to get a like a they're called schoolies, but it's a bus that you turn into a house. And I'm going to drive across Canada, and then I'm going to go and see everybody in the States, and then I need to go back to Mexico and beyond. So it's in the works. I don't know when I'll be out there, because flying across our own country here in Canada is way more expensive than, it costs me less to fly to Guatemala than it would to fly to Vancouver. It's absolutely ridiculous. Um, do you think it would be possible to do knife play with Michael? He's afraid of doing it when I mention it. It makes him scared, and he says because he's partially quick or because he's partially blind, and I go into subspace quick. Yeah, just don't use a sharp knife. Like I know that takes the I was going to say takes the edge out of it, but it takes the fun out of it for some people. Um, but when you're learning, when you're starting out, don't use a sharp knife. And like you don't even need to use a knife. Blindfold the sub, use a credit card, or that type of thing. Use the back of a butter knife, use whatever. But you can get that fear element without you know the worrying about cutting. Now, if you are talking about like actual cutting, the long answer would be yes, you could, but I would say that you need a lot of training in person. Definitely not something I can give advice over the internet for, but yes, you could learn how to do that, even if you're totally blind. Um, but it's a lot riskier, obviously, and it's going to take a lot more involved training. But yeah, so I would just, if you want to get that fear element, just don't use a sharp knife. Um, oh, Winnipeg, awesome. Well, sorry, my chat is like, I think way behind here. So, hopefully you can make it to Michigan. Absolutely. Daddy is a sadist, and I think you'd teach him a few fun ways to torture me. Yeah, I have that effect on people. Probably because I just love to hurt them so much. My dom is a switch, so sometimes things overlap. Her dom didn't realize I was there and tried to get her to sub, but she was like, "Little, oh, couch, nice. Oh, little on couch. There we go. Yes. Um, okay, yes, Natalie, thank you very much. You could try using smooth edge of a butter knife or a credit card as a mind fuck technique. Perfect. Exactly what I would have said and did. Let's see. Temporary tattoos for marks without the pain. Definitely a creative answer. Um, oh, hickeys. Yeah, there we go. And cupping. Oh my God. See, this is I know all these things, but here you guys are. Thank you so much. These are fantastic answers. Oh yes, Alex, you can use creams that reduce sensation. So something like an EMLA cream, um, and you won't feel bad and still leave marks. There you go. No pain in marking. Paint can be your friend. Oh, interesting idea. Yeah, paint or like even some makeup or something like that. You can put it on the flogger. Leave marks, no pain. Um, Okay. Hickeys are usually what happen. I still feel a little guilty when I leave them though. Uh, well, Alice, I think we've got some good ideas for you here. I'm still gonna work on a few more for you though. Um, but yeah, that's an interesting sort of thing. I'm just like, because it brings me such joy to hurt people. So I'm wrapping my brain around this, but it looks like everybody else here has got you covered. But I'm still gonna work on a few more ideas for you. Don't worry. Um, all right. Okay, Washington State. Awesome. Yes. I have heard really good things about Washington State. So I mean, I want to go see all of it. I want to see the whole US at some point. Um, okay. Okay, Portland. Right on. I've definitely heard good things of Portland. So I'm in a triad, and my male partner is usually my sub. My female partner is his sub. She gets anxious when seeing her dom show submissive behavior. Any idea why? She doesn't like to talk about it. Yeah. So for a lot of people, uh, and genders really don't matter. But for a lot of people, if they see their dominant doing things that they perceive to be submissive or actually being submissive or anything like that, um, it messes with their idea of the person. Um, I've had it a lot where, you know, people that I have dated have been like, "Well, have you ever like submitted to anybody ever?" kind of thing. And it's like, okay, what does that matter? Or like, and to them, it's not even that. It's like, have you ever bottomed? And oh my God, and oh, I couldn't see somebody as a dom if they've ever like, so much as like, said yes sir to their boss, kind of thing. And I'm obviously exaggerating there, but yeah, it can mess with their perception of who the person is. Because if just think about it, if you've seen somebody in one role only, and then you see them in a role that is kind of like drastically different, potentially like I don't want to say the opposite, but a drastically different role, it can kind of mess with your idea of who that person is and your perception of them. And I would bet, I mean, I don't know any of you guys, I would bet that that's why they're having this problem. Um, and it's I mean, it's their problem. They're gonna have to work on their ideas of, why that bothers them so much. Because it's there's not really anything that you guys can do, um, that will change their perception of, "Oh, a dominant doesn't do these things," right? But to me, getting exposure to the kink community in general, I find helps people get out of those rigid, my like headspaces, um, and just exposure in general. So having her see him as a sub, um, then the more she sees it, hopefully, the more she can reconcile that he can be both dominant and submissive. He can top and bottom. He can do all of these things and still be that same person. But yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a toughie because it's it all wrapped up in our perception of the person, um, and a lot of it's subconscious. So she may not even really recognize it. So uh, oh, thank you, Real Wolfie. Um, let's see. Any suggestions or techniques, specific types of play for new BDSM couples? More of a sadist, ready to jump in head first. It's always easier for the sadist to jump in head first. I have to keep reminding myself to keep it easy. Yeah, do things where you get automatic feedback. So what I mean by that is do like spanking because you're gonna feel how hard you're hitting because your hand is involved, right? If I start using something like a flogger or a cane, um, I don't have that immediate feedback. I can hear the noise, I can see the reaction, but I don't know how hard I'm hitting with it. I mean, once you're experienced, you have a pretty good idea. But if you do things just with your hands, then you do. But of course, find out what your partner is into. And then try uh, you know, easy to use but safe toys. So I would say, like, I mean, hand spanking for impact play, paddles are great for impact play. You won't get that automatic feedback, and you need to monitor how hard you're hitting. But there's paddles don't require a lot of practice, right? They're the sort of like plug and play of BDSM. Grab paddle, whack, not hard. Whereas, like if we're talking about things like canes or straps or floggers, then we have to worry about wrapping and practicing technique and our aim and everything else. I've got videos on a bunch of those things that you can check out on the channel. But also find out what your partner is into. Bondage is a really good one. You don't need to learn elaborate rope ties unless you absolutely want to. But you can use, I have some simple rope ties. You can use cuffs. You can use, on one of my, like, I bought toys from Wish or something like that kind of videos. I got these like Velcro things that go around the thigh and the wrist, and they're pretty solid. And if your sub is a brat like mine, he'll pick at them and get out. But they are actually quite strong. So you can do different things like that. One of my favorite things to do as a sadist is tickle torture because it doesn't hurt totally, but it's torture. I mean, especially if the person doesn't enjoy being tickled. And to me, it's hilarious. I think play should be fun, and yeah, I so try tickle torture or things like that. But yeah, just find out what your partner's into, and do a little bit of research and figure out, okay, is this something I can just jump in head first, or is it something that I need to actually go to a class and learn a bit more about before I try it? Um, I have a question. It's important for me and my girlfriend. Um, I heard chastity devices. I think we're saying chastity devices make the muscles of the cock weak. Is that right? I mean, if I wear it for 4 days every week or something like that. Yeah, no, you don't have to worry about that. The way a penis works is, or like I'm assuming you're looking, worried about erections, is that there's basically erectile tissues that run down the length of it. There's no muscle involved there. Basically, when you get aroused, the blood flows into those erectile tissues and you get an erection. Now, if you're wearing a chastity cage, um, it's not going to prevent an erection to a certain extent. Some of them are better at it than others, but what it will do is it'll make getting that erection painful because you've got a solid plastic thing, and then you've got a penis trying to push against it, and it's not going to work out. So it'll make it not like ow painful. Oh my god, I'm going to die hurting, but like you'll notice that it's uncomfortable in your pants, kind of thing. So don't worry about like a lot of pain or anything. But no, it won't, unless you're talking about very, very, very long-term chastity. You're probably not going to run into any problems at all. And one of the problems with very long-term chastity, I'm talking like months here, is that our libidos tend to be something that you use it or you lose it. So people that are locked in chastity for months on end often lose the desire. They can still get an erection. They still have normal sexual response. If we have a person with a vulva in chastity, it's the same thing. You get normal sexual response, but the desire for sex just isn't there unless you keep that up. So that's the main worry. But yeah, no, don't worry about losing the ability to get an erection or anything like that. And especially if you're just wearing it for a couple of days, I would say just work up to it slowly. Wear it for a couple of hours at first, maybe overnight, and slowly build up that time because it takes a while to get used to the device, and make sure that you have a well-fitting device. There's a lot of them out there on the market, so you can choose from different styles. I'm going to do some reviews of chastity devices soon, so definitely stick around for those. Yeah. Take classes, learn each other's bodies, and learn as much as you can about the human body and the risks. Perfect. Perfect answer. Let's see. Okay. Have I ever been to Folsom? No, I have not. Um, Unfortunately, again, living in Canada, it's really hard to sometimes get down to the States because it's quite pricey. Folsom is in California, right? And I love California. I've only been there once. Absolutely loved it. But yeah, I don't unfortunately have the means to travel to all of these things at the moment. But like I said, we're working on some fun stuff. Have I ever played with a rope bunny? Yeah. I'm not a big rope person, but yes. Um, I have at times, or people that sort of identify, usually they're interested in something more than rope because there's a million people in my community that are better at rope than I am. But yes, absolutely. Thoughts on safety of blood play at public dungeons or in pickup play? Yes, I have lots of those thoughts. But and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do this to you, but it's a little I mean, we've been here for about an hour already. It would take me another hour. But I will be doing some videos on this. My next book is actually right on that subject, about safety regarding like blood play or any kind of invasive body play. So I will be having some stuff before I launch the book. We'll be doing a lot of videos on that subject. So I'm sorry, that's a shitty answer, but it's the best I can do right now. Opinions on public play. I enjoy public play. I like to sort of like play off the other people in the room and the energy and everything else. It's just fun for me. Um, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I play with random people all the time. Usually I'll play with my partner. Sometimes I play with other people. Yeah, but I like it. Pete says safety blood play in public. Many places, from my experience, won't let you do blood play for fear of disease. You need to do blood tests for safety. Yes, a lot of places don't allow it. Blood tests are only good on the day that they're done. After that, forget it. And not all blood tests are comprehensive. Most people haven't been tested for diseases like hepatitis C. You have to specifically request it, and they may not even agree to test you for it when you request it. I've requested to be tested for Hep C before because I used to work in healthcare, because I'm heavily involved in tattooing and piercing and stuff, as you can see. And I was working as a pro dom and doing, blood play and stuff like that. And even with all of that, they were like, no, you don't really need it. So, and all of those things put me in high risk categories for Hep C. So yeah, most people don't know their Hep C status, which sucks. And if you can get tested, I highly suggest you do, because it's good to know your status. So yeah. So blood tests are yes and no kind of thing. I mean, they're very popular among a lot of people, but they're only good for the day that they were drawn on. So, um, video on cupping. Yes, absolutely. I've got a bunch of cups, so yeah, we can do that. I won't necessarily talk about health benefits because that is a little beyond my purview. I'm not a Chinese medicine practitioner. Man, maybe I can find one. If I can find one who's willing to come on and talk about the health benefits, I totally will. But I make no promises there. But yes, I do know cupping, so we'll do that. Otherkin, your thoughts? I think everybody's cool, like however they identify. It's not my place to judge anyone, basically. I don't know a lot about otherkin, to be honest with you. I have a vague idea of what they are. But yeah, in my mind, it is not my place to judge anyone else's identity. So everybody gets to do what they need to do because I don't want anyone judging me. That's how it works, right? Oh, thank you, Lisa. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm like way behind here. Sorry, guys. Um, Okay, I started out in the BDSM world as a sub, but since I was involved with more subs than doms, it turned into a switch. But I miss subspace. There's nothing like it. Yeah, I could definitely understand that. I think there's a lot of people who kind of fall into that. I know certainly a lot of male subs that I've talked to switch because they have a hard time finding female dominant partners. So yeah, if you are a straight male sub, it can be a little tough out there. So. Um, okay. Long distance okay, Michael, I'm not totally up on long distance relationships. Uh, it's hard. I'll do a video about that for sure. Um, but yeah, I would need to gather my thoughts on that first. And yes, Gus, tickle torture does rock. Okay. All right. Okay, have fun, Pete. And uh well, say hi to mom for me too. um, okay, wife and I attended our first slosh event. She was very uneasy at first, but warmed up to it over the course of the night. Any tips to help her become more comfortable? Just keep doing it, right? Keep going. It's hard. Definitely, it's hard to walk into a room with people you don't know and just be like, "Hi. Oh, by the way, I guess you guys all know that I'm kinky." So yeah, I definitely get how it can be tough, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And if you guys already went, kinky people are pretty laid back and generally pretty cool. So, like, I mean, I think the big thing to remember is that we're all a bunch of like absolute geeks, like hardcore. Um, I myself included. So, you know, we may look cool in all of our leather and stuff, but yeah, no. Like I got bookshelves full of like comic books and everything else and books on philosophy and all kinds of fun stuff. Oh, now the camera doesn't want to focus. Awesome. It's because I wave my hands around too much. But yeah, the more you go, the more comfortable you'll get for sure. Oh, hi, John and Amy. Um, Heidi, yes, you can have a shout out. Hi, Wolfgar. Oh, see, I told you guys he'd come and lick me. Okay, come on, sit down. Oh, giant doggy. No, I'm busy. I'm busy. Okay, now that I'm covered in slobber, please don't get slobber on the camera. Yes, okay. Can we sit down? Sit. Sit. There we go. Okay. All right. We might just get a nose here. My sub wants punishment, but isn't a masochist. He wants something that's physical and sexual, still in the line of punishment. Any ideas? We've tried classic stuff and haven't found anything. Um, let's see. I'm a big fan of like tease and denial for somebody that doesn't want that is into that like physical sexual kind of stuff. There's well, I mean, the eventual blue balls will cause pain. But yeah, tease and denial can be a lot of fun. Just trying to think of some other stuff. Well, again, tickle torture. um, it's not sort of a classic punishment, but it can certainly be a punishment. You can also try. I'm just trying to think. Like there's all kinds of different sort of forms of like psychological stuff that you can do. I mentioned once that I have used ABBA as torture, and all the Swedes got really pissed at me. And I'm so sorry, guys, but it's ABBA. But pick whatever music that you don't like and make him listen to that, and then do other things. Whether it's that aforementioned tease and denial or whatever. But yeah, you can. There's definitely a lot of stuff. Let me think about that, and I'll do a video on kind of like punishments that are not painful. Because I think that's a great idea. It's for a video. Hey, nail bunny girl. Hope you're doing well. Um. All right. Let's see. Tips on good music to play during playtime to help her get in the right mindset. People ask me this all the time. And it's hard to answer because it really depends on what kind of music you like, right? I am a metalhead, so uh, that's what I'm going to play is like metal. But that doesn't work for everyone. So, play music that you guys find puts you in the mood or whatever. I used to have a playlist that had a lot of classical music when I was doing pro dom work. I've had playlists that were like sort of classic rock for more laid back sort of scenes, all kinds of different things. But yeah, whatever puts you guys in the mood. Thanks, Wolfie. That was just awesome. Yes, Wolfgar just wants to be a part of everything. um, Oh, thank you, Tiffany. As Tiffany says, yes, Morgan, you're actually one of the people that reference when we talk. That's awesome. Thank you. I don't have a human pup right now. The boy just isn't into pup play, which is okay. I've done some play in the past, but yeah, he just really likes all the gas masks and stuff. So that's kind of fun too. Um, Once my punishment was no music for a day. I'm a singer and a dancer. Music is literally my life. I just cried on the floor singing quietly to myself. Oh, that hurts. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I I would totally just give you a little kick for singing because that's still music. um, I've heard of people switching between top and bottom, dom and sub, due to people's energy. Is it possible to have different kinks due to their energy? Yeah, absolutely. There are some people that I will meet and I'll be like, "Ooh, I really want to like, throw them on the ground and like walk all over them," and that's what I want to do to that person. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't do that without some kind of permission and consent and stuff like that. But then other people I have no desire to do that to. So yeah, it definitely, I think that kinks can feed off of the energy that people have. I don't know if that's what you were trying to get at there, but yeah, no, there's absolutely there's people where I'm like, I really want to do this thing specifically to them or that thing specifically that I don't really want to do to anyone else, or that isn't like a common thing that I like to do. Okay, Bailey says we love playing Rob Zombie, especially Dracula. Yes, Rob Zombie is awesome for this kind of stuff. Total unrelated side note: when I was in high school, I worked in a music store because those existed when I was in high school. And one of the Rob Zombie albums had just come out, or something, War a White Zombie. But anyways, it was Super Sexy Swingin' Sounds. That was it. And this like old guy came in who clearly was not into heavy metal, but he saw the cover of it. And for those of you who don't know, it's like, a naked girl in a hammock, and it's presented very sexy, but it's heavy metal. And he's like, "Is this good to like, play when I want to get friendly with my wife," kind of thing? And I'm like, "Nope, no, it isn't. Just give me that. Let me take the heavy metal away from you." So, yeah, just totally random story because it seemed like the right thing to say. Tool, Deftones, and Nine Inch Nails, absolutely, 100%. Yes. Um, Daddy loves caning me to Enigma, Principles of Lust, of course. And anything by Maynard. Yes, anything by Maynard. I love Maynard. Let's see. Vibrators are torture devices from hell. Absolutely. Uh, Homage with tongue. It's basically oral worship, that kind of stuff. Like usually when people say stuff like that, they're basically trying to dress up the idea of oral sex and paint oral sex as service, which it absolutely can be. I just find that people that kind of use that type of language are usually feeding their own kinks rather than doing anything for me. Well, especially me, because I don't really dig oral sex. But yeah, so when you hear oral worship and that kind of stuff, it's just usually like oral sex, and that's what paying homage with their tongue would be. Um, yes, the German version of Du Hast is much better, and it is good for caning. Actually, all of Rammstein is good for caning. They've got a good beat for that. um, Apparently, we have a lot of people into metal here, so yay. Have you ever taken a typology personality test, the ERIS or N1? Do you know your type? Do you think kink is more common in certain personalities? I've taken a bunch of those over the years. I don't put a lot of stock in them myself. So I don't remember what personality type I was. Um, like I know that I tend to be like an introverted extrovert. So I mean, obviously you guys see me, I'm very like, and in your face and animated and everything, but I really value my alone time and stuff like that. But I don't know that kink is more common in any specific personality type, just because I know people from like that are any kind of personality that are into kink. And just like, I mean, I know shy dominants and, totally take charge submissives. Um, like quite a few of the women that I know that are subs, like you would never know that if you talk to them, like just outside of a scene or outside of their interactions with their partners, because they would kick your ass 6 ways to Sunday, just because they're awesome and they're totally in charge, but they choose to submit to somebody. So yeah, I don't think the personality type necessarily correlates, but like I said, it's not something that I put a ton of stock into. Um, so it's not something I know a lot about, but I'll just, give you an opinion on it anyways. But you know what I mean. Let's see. Ace people in the kink community. Yeah, I've kind of touched on it before when I've talked about being asexual, but I'll definitely be doing more of those because I mean, hey, it's fun to talk about sometimes. Um, yeah, I can stay, but I wanted to tell you, you've taught me so much. Thank you for all your knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much, Marie. That's so sweet. Have I ever done a military type scene? I have in the past. Because I again, I like interrogations type play, and I like some realism in my plays. So, where did my chat go? So weird when it does that. So yes, I've done some military, um, and it's fun. And like, yeah, like I said, I do like to do a bit of research and try to make it a little more accurate. But yeah, yeah, it's just fun. I don't know what else to say. I'm babbling. It's fun. Tips on coming out as kinky. Um, yeah, just I mean, like, it depends on who you're coming out to, right? Like, I don't think that we need to be out about that kind of stuff to everyone, unless you want to. Absolutely. Like, I mean, everyone in my life knows that I'm kinky. It's hard to be on the internet and be as open as I am and not have everyone know. But yeah, just I think that this is one of those times where, because I mean, Kingsters kind of get really, really down on 50 Shades of Grey, and with good reason. There's a lot of problems with this series, but it also does us a lot of favors because it's brought the idea of kink out to sort of a more mainstream audience. So you can say, like, yeah, I'm into kink, like a little 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing, and people get the idea of what you're into. So yeah, you can sort of use that as a way, like, oh, have you ever read 50 Shades of Grey? Yeah, I'm into that kind of stuff. Um, and you can specify that you do the other way around if you're, a female dominant or whatever. But yeah, I think so do that. It's a good way to kind of bring that up to vanilla people that may not understand. Okay, I want to answer the questions that you guys have here, but I do need to wrap things up shortly. So we've got a few more here, and then I am going to have to go. As much fun as is. And this is actually making me feel a lot better. I was really hurting today, so this is lifting my spirits. So thank you very much. Um, I was an extroverted, submissive, and my previous dom was so shy and introverted. Yeah, it happens a lot. When I started out, I thought I was a sub. Turns out I'm a little with brat and sub tendencies. My daddy is used to having slaves. Tips on how to be more slave-like. I think that, I mean, it really depends on what your definition of slave is, obviously, because that's going to be different for a lot of people. Um, for me, it's again, it goes right back to obedience. So, be obedient. It's really easy to say. I know, I'm not on that side of things. But yeah, just do your best you know, to be obedient. And maybe because you do need to have time to, uh, you know, express various parts of you, talk to your partner and see if we can set aside time where I can be a little or a brat or whatever. Or, okay, I can do some bratty things, but as soon as daddy says that's enough, then I got to stop and, be obedient. Because for me, like whenever I've partnered with brats, that's sort of my that's my safe word. That's enough. That's my safe word. So they know, okay, I've pushed her as far as I can, and now I have to fly right. So yeah, just obviously have that conversation. Find out if there's times where you can indulge those sides of you, but you also need to work on behaving in a way that you both agree is appropriate for a slave. Chauffeuring, just some on the list we were unsure of. We found out what birth play is, not what we thought originally. Yeah, chauffeuring, it's what it says on the box, driving people around. That is a thing that a lot of people will do. So a lot of them are, I mean, I don't suggest you Google a lot of these things because that leads down a terrifying path. But yeah, chauffeuring is just driving people around. Um, what would you do if your parents found something like a pacifier or something kinky? How would you explain that? My father did find a flogger many, many years ago. I told him not to look in that drawer, and he looked in that drawer anyways. Can't remember what he was looking for. And he just kind of picked it up. He looked at that. He looked at the flogger. He looked at me. He looked at the flogger. He put it back in the drawer, and he walked out. And that was the only conversation, if you can call it that, we ever had about these things. Um, I think that if you do need to have a more in-depth conversation, I would simply say that, like, I'm either an adult or close to being an adult. I'm I'm allowed to explore my sexuality. I get it if you don't understand. I would much prefer to keep this personal, but please trust me and believe that I am looking after myself and I'm being safe. If it's something like kinky and sexual that you can't sort of deny. If it's something like a pacifier, you could always pass it off as you're trying to be a 90s rave kid. Uh, because I think that was when everyone had all the pacifiers. But yeah, you could kind of play it off as a fashion accessory. That sometimes works. And I mean, God, you could probably play off a lot of different kinky stuff as a fashion accessory nowadays. But yeah, like, I mean, it depends on which route you want to take and how cool your parents are. Like, I know some parents would be totally fine and be like, okay, honey, as long as you're safe. And there's parents like mine that would, not be cool with it. Thankfully, my dad was cooler than my mom, but yeah. um, I like to take charge, get shy about admitting it. So contradictory. It is. It absolutely is. Sometimes we're like that. That's the joy of human psychology. We don't make sense like ever. What do you say would be a good idea to pull someone out of bratty sub when the dom is done having fun with the bratty side? I have a brat and a sub, but it's hard for me to switch. Well, like I said, I let them know blah, blah, blah. I let them know ahead of time. I have limited tolerance for bratty behavior. So some things are totally off limits, and if they do something which for me would be totally off limits, I'll tell them and they get to know, like the first time I'll tell them. And then after that, they better know. Because I do expect people to respect my limits as well as I respect their limits. And then, yeah, you get to have your dominant safe word where that's enough or whatever, just to let them know you've pushed me as far as I'm going to let you push. And now you need to straighten up, fly right, whatever. And just make sure that you've talked about this ahead of time so that they know that when you say that's enough or whatever it is, doesn't have to be that. It could be, it could be anything. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of things. But yeah, just let them know that means I've had it and go on from there. So, and if they can't respect that, you using your safe word, then you have a much bigger conversation to have. Because it would be like you as a dominant ignoring their use of a safe word. And if you explain it like that to them, hopefully they get it. I mean, I think most people understand without having to get all like heavy. I don't know why I just turned green there. That was weird. But hopefully they get that. Oh, thank you so much. That one trans dude vlogs. That's so sweet. Oh, thank you, Alice. Yes, you have a great evening too. All right. Bye bye, Barely Adulting and Natalie. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Linda, thank you. Oh, yes, I always try to keep my spirits high, and when I don't, I just come to you guys. You're amazing for it. So, um, okay, and Javier, Billy, oh, awesome, and Tiffany. Thank you guys so much, and say goodbye to Michael for me as well. All right, I'm gonna sign off, and thank you guys for coming and hanging out. This was a super fun first live thing that I did. We're gonna do these more often because I've had a great time. So yeah, I'll try to give you a little more notice next time. But anyways, guys, thanks so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.